Man, I gotta stay off Twitter. It's just too much negativity, you know. Um, I do like going on Twitter. It's kind of like a love hate thing, you know. But I don't know. You just see a lot of weird, funny tweets. I don't follow Andrew Tate, but I saw this tweet of his. He goes, "Any man who hates driving is a bitch, afraid of the stress of traffic or risk of crashing. Gay." So it's funny because I actually like driving, but um, I kind of like. Okay, so like actually, it's kind of funny because I've been thinking. I don't currently drive because I'm not in the country. I'm traveling, and also I'm really into bicycling right now. But the funny thing is like I'm a very like careful driver, and I haven't gotten a lot of accidents. But like last May, I believe it was May 5th, I was driving very slowly down a suburban street in Washington. My brother was in the car too, and I was being very careful. And this guy went through a stop sign and just freaking hit my car really hard. It didn't actually really. Their car was more messed up than mine because mine was like a 1999 like Toyota, and those things are built like bricks. So I didn't really get injured. I didn't really like try to get any money or anything, even though it was kind of disruptive for me. But I sort of just let the whole thing go, and I didn't want to like pursue anything. And but it's sort of like it sort of actually threw me for a loop because I'm a very cautious driver, and I'm like, if I'm being cautious and this shit's still happening, what the fuck, you know what I mean? And it didn't make me not want to drive, but and also the thing is, shit can happen to you whether you're bicycling, running, whatever. But like, I do kind of feel like our society would be better off if we weren't as car centric. Now, I know cars can be really freaking awesome, like new cars, Teslas, Ferraris, all that are pretty awesome. But I'm not going to say that, like, oh, I'm not tempted to get an awesome car someday or whatever. But I'm very influenced by Durian Rider, and he doesn't drive at all, and he could definitely afford a great car if he wanted to. He's like a YouTube sensation, YouTube star. He could get probably like the fanciest car he wanted, but he chooses to ride a bicycle everywhere, and I just like really like. I think that's way cooler, you know. He says, burn fat, not oil, So you're like getting in shape. And I'm not saying I'm like not going to get a car again because actually my car before I came here it would kaput on my way to driving to Los Angeles. So, but it had like over 250. It had like 254,000 miles on it. But like, in these streets where I ride the bicycle, it's really like not easy to ride a bicycle. You're kind of like always competing for room, and there's always like tons of cars and tons of traffic. It's when you get out of the country that the rides get really good. When you go over the bridge and then keep going into the hills. Okay. So, but in the cities, if there weren't so many cars, it would be a lot better. You know. Um, but it's probably not going to happen. But I'm just saying, like, if there was a town where like it's like we're gonna limit like or maybe have cars go on the outs, like maybe just have this whole downtown where there's no cars. It's kind of nice. I mean, cars are freaking noisy. You know what I mean? Um, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not anti-car or anything, but I just thought that was a silly ass tweet. You know what I mean? To be like, oh man, you're lame if you don't want to drive a car, blah blah blah. And you know, um, if if it's also like it's a money thing. Gas has gotten more expensive, insurance, and also, you know, lately in the cities in America, people have gotten more crazy and drive more erratically. You cannot deny that it's an issue. You cannot deny that. There's just and there's just a lot more uninsured drivers, and it's just I don't know. I'm not saying like that. Like I totally disagree with what he's saying. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be like, oh shit, I never want to drive. But I don't think there's anything wrong with like alternative forms of transportation or riding your bicycle. Like riding a bicycle should be more encouraged. So many people are like hostile to bicyclists. I remember one time I was riding a bicycle in Beverly Hills, and this lady with a really wide Rolls Royce car, she goes, "You're taking up the whole road." And I'm just like on my bicycle. I'm like, I'm not the one taking up the whole road. You're the one. I didn't say this, but I'm like, you're the one in the freaking Rolls Royce. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, and I've seen so many people have like these hostile attitudes towards bicyclists. Bicyclists are just like, it's like you're on a motorbike, but it's slower. You know what I mean? It's like um, everybody's got to get around, right? Why would you be hostile towards somebody who wants to get around on a bicycle? You know what I mean? It's such a weird it's such a weird attitude. I remember I was Ubering some woman, and there were some bicyclists uh, driving by, and she goes, "Oh, I hate bicyclists." It's like this like weird like attitude people have lately. Not lately, but for a long time. And I think it's like there's this thing where like you think like the cyclists aren't obeying all the laws or something. But it's like look at all the drivers out there that aren't obeying all the laws. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. It's just people tend to feel like they don't want to share the road. But if you think about it, if you're alone in your car versus somebody on their bike, you're the one taking up a lot more space. You know what I mean? It's like, but I actually, I've said this for a long time. I really think that there should be like, like a super highway for bicyclists, like where you don't even have to be on the same road as cars at all. Should be completely separated, you know, because it just doesn't seem to be working out. You know, I remember like going down Main Street in Santa Monica, and you know, I'm driving and I'm like, there's like people on Lime scooters, there's people on skateboards, there's people on bicycles, and there's people walking their dogs. And it's like when you're driving a car in those kind of conditions, you're just like, someone could just freaking come out at you at any minute. You're just like always trying to like not get in an accident. You know what I mean? And I mean, I was an Uber driver in LA. Luckily, I didn't get in any accidents when I was doing Uber. I'm pretty thankful for that. But God, when I think about it, it's just like crazy. Um. Anyway, so that's just something to think about. I don't know. I was just I don't know, I just sometimes I'm on Twitter and I just see these tweets. That's not even really a bad one. I don't actually think he's like, I don't even really think he's that bad of a guy or whatever. I think that there's much worse people out there on Twitter, and I don't really want to talk about it, but I've seen a lot of stuff that's pissed me off lately on Twitter. So I'm trying not to go on as much. It is something that I like to browse, but I'm just trying to kind of like do it last time. But that I gotta go to sleep because it's getting late.